Today I'd like to show you how Eric Clapton uses the major blues scale in his solos. So let's get stuck in. So as I've showed you with the previous videos on the minor blues scale and the blues scale, now I'm going to show you a similar sort of format with the major blues scale. Now note that I say major blues scale. I'm not saying the major scale. The major scale is what he will tend to use on more major sort of rock numbers. Things like Knocking on Heaven's Door or Wonderful Tonight. I say rock, but I mean not blues, just standard major chord songs. And they have more notes in them that Eric Clapton will tend to use. In the major blues scale, he has a much more smaller version of the major scale, and that's why I'm calling it the major blues scale, because these are the notes that he tends to use in the major scale. So I've removed all the notes that are in the major scale that he doesn't tend to play in a blues song, and we're left with quite a simple set of scales. There's actually only 3 that you need to worry about. There's position 1 and 2, which I tend to say is kind of the same positions, really. They kind of work together really, really well. So we've got positions 1 and 2, we've got positions 4 and positions 5. There's no position 3. He doesn't tend to go into that position for soloing. Now the other thing you should know with the major blues scale is that he won't do an entire solo in the major blues scale. He'll play certain sections in the major blues scale, but then he'll work his way into the blues scale. The blues scale and the major blues scale work together really, really well. And you'll find that when you're using the major blues scale and you move to a certain position, like position 2, you'll suddenly find yourself in position 1 of the blues scale, and you'll start playing the blues scale in that position rather than the major scale. It's one of these things that over time, when you've learned these scales over and over again and keep playing licks in them, they just morph together. And I'm going to do a video after this sort of series on the scales on mixing the major and minor blues scales together and show you how Eric Clapton does that in a solo. But for now, we're going to concentrate on the major blues scale. So we're going to start with position 1 and 2. And I'm going to put those up on the screen now so you can see them. Now what you'll notice is that it's almost identical to the blues scale position 1 and 2. The only difference is it's 3 frets down. Now a lot of people will say, well, you can just play the same thing. You can play the same licks that you do in position 1 and 2 of the blues scale. Just play them three frets down and it will sound fine, but I don't agree with that. It might be the same scale, but the root is in a different place and the whole feel of the licks is different. You can't just play the same licks in that scale. For example, in position 1 of the blues scale, one of the common licks is this. Now you can't really play that here in the major scale because it just doesn't sound right. It just won't sound right. There's certain ways of playing the major blues scale that's different to the blues scale, and I'll try and get into that in further videos, but for now let's look into the actual notes themselves. So as I've showed you in the previous videos, Eric Clapton will move between positions. So he'll start off in position 5, but he'll be up on just these strings here. He'll never come down and play these strings in position 5. So we'll start off like this. Now even though that's position scale 5, I'm dealing with it as position 1 and 2. This whole run is position 1 and 2 because it just flows together completely on its own, in its own entity. Now we're going to slide into position 1 and slide into position 2. Eric Clapton will very, very rarely go from here in position 1 to the top strings in position 1. I've put those notes in there, but he doesn't do it that often. He'll nearly always move up. Whereas in the blues scale, we're always playing these top string notes in position 1. So most of the time, he'll move into position 2 straight away. Occasionally he will play some notes there, but most of the time he won't. Now one note that I have put in here, this one, he won't tend to play that as a single note on its own. Like, he won't tend to do that. The only time he tends to play this note is when he's doing this lick. That's the only time he tends to play that note. So that's position 1 and 2. Remember that we're moving between positions. And that's our route. We'll be ending quite a lot of our solos on that note. Or that's where we tend to end them. And here. So that's position 1 and 2. Now positions 3, he doesn't solo in that position. That position will be around here. But he doesn't play it in that position. You won't see him do that. What he will do is he'll move from position 2 straight into position 4. And he'll do that by hitting this note. And he'll completely bypass position 3. So don't worry about that. You don't need to solo in position 3. You can either pass into it from 2 to 4, or you can just go straight into 4. Now I'll put position 4 up on the screen now. Now position 4 is a massively common position that Eric Clapton will play in. Most blues players. It's very, very popular. There's millions of licks that you can play in this position. Like we've done with 1 and 2, we can move down into position 3 on these bottom strings, but we're never going to play the top notes of this scale. And in this position, he'll tend to play these notes rather than this one. Now in the blues scale in position 4, he'll only tend to play these two. And this is why I'm saying how the positions of the blues scale and the major blues scale, you play them differently, even though they've got so much of the same notes. Or the same notes in that position, I mean, not the same notes in the scale. So in this one, like I said, I'm going to show you some licks in later videos, but a very, very common thing he'll play is this. And those ones. And when he's in this position, he'll morph it. He'll morph it into position 3 of the blues scale. See, that's the major and the minor combined. I'm going to do a separate entire video on mixing these, but I just wanted to demonstrate how Eric Clapton, he doesn't just stay in the major scale, blues scale, for a whole solo, or even for whole sections. He'll mix them together with the blues scale. The only time he really, really concentrates only on the major scale is these kind of licks. Now the final position is position 5, and there's hardly any notes. There's only 4 notes you need to know in this particular scale, and most of the time he will just run into it from position 4 and he won't do much else. He might immediately move to position 1. So it's here. It's these notes. But he won't start soloing. He might do a few runs like this. But he won't really solo in this position that long, but I did want to put it in there because he does move into it. Whereas the position 3, he'll run through it. He'll never play in it. So we can do something like... And occasionally he'll actually run into position 1 straight away. So that's really it. That's all he tends to do in the major blues scale. And like I said, I'm going to do another video which will really be in detail on how he mixes this scale with the blues scale to create so much variety in his playing and in his solos. And it just morphs together so well, so beautifully. So that's the major blues scale that Eric Clapton plays. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe because it really helps my channel. And as I always mention, I have a membership community where I go much deeper into Eric Clapton's playing. There's a link in the description if you want to check out the 7-day free trial. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video and now go and watch this one.